have the power.
Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Masterverse line and what's happening with it. So let's go ahead and break this down, and let's talk about how Chronicles may be replacing our Masterverse figures that we have come to like and know. So, as we know, we have had some Masterverse figures come out just recently, some really cool ones, like this guy right here, and just some great figures. But we also heard about the new Chronicles coming out. The Chronicles! And these Chronicle figures are not going to be the same size as our Masterverse. In fact, they're going to be closer to the size of like Marvel Legends. So let me go and grab some Marvel Legends figures here. Here we have some right here. And you can see the size difference between these figures is quite a bit different. Now it's hard to see as I should have pulled some out of the box, but see, you know what? I got a Masterverse figure right over here on the shelf. There we go. There's a regular Masterverse, and you can see how much shorter these guys are going to be. And I measured these just earlier. These are 6-inch figures, so this is the new size of the Chronicles. They're just not going to work. And we have had a lot of really cool Masterverse figures. As you guys know, I really enjoy a lot of the female figures. They are awesome. I also really like the monsters. The monsters of the universe, like Beastman here, and Whiplash, and we saw Clawful and a bunch of other really cool... now I'm knocking everybody over. Figures that we're not going to get anymore with the new Chronicles line because it's not going to match the figures. So, I guess their strategy is they wanted to match the other new lines coming out, their new DC line and their WWE and everything else. So all the figures are the same, kind of like we saw with Origins, where they had the WWE Origins and the Turtle crossover, and now the Transformer crossover. So the same kind of thing. They want figures that will all match together. So when kids play, they can play with all of them at the same time, which for Origins was pretty cool. They did that. But still, going to this new size just kind of stinks for all of us that have collected the Masterverse or even the Classics. Now, you guys know I like to take Masterverse we did not get in Classics and add them to my Classics collection. And there's a few figures that we really needed to have. But before I jump in there, I was just thinking, probably one of our last figures we're going to get is that Walmart exclusive Teela, which I just found out just sold out. I actually ordered her, and I had her on my thing to get her, and then all of a sudden I went to check because someone said they were on clearance at Walmart, and so I went to check my order, and they just canceled it. I'm like, no, they canceled my order. I didn't see any email or anything. And so I went back on there and quickly ordered two, and then they were sold out. Everywhere. And eBay prices shot up. Some guy sold 111 of them for twice the price on eBay. I'm like, no. But this might be our last Masterverse figure we get in the line. Now, I want you to notice this is the vintage collection. I'll talk more about that later on in this video. So, there are some definite figures that I really wish would have got made, and they could have done it pretty easily. So, one of the figures that I wish I got made was 2000X, and that is the Sorceress. Now, we did have a statue of the Sorceress way back in the 2000X day. We never actually got a figure of her, but we've never really had a figure of the 2000X Sorceress, just this one statue here, which is a pretty cool looking statue. Now, we did get King Grayskull's wife, which is very similar to the 2000X style Sorceress, but still different. And I remember when I got her, she came with 2 of the same wings. So I had to go online and buy a whole bunch of wings, because every time I buy the wings, sometimes you would get 2 the same or 1 of each. So I bought like 8 to 10 different wings. And finally I got a set that is a left and a right to put on her. But she's cool, but she's not her. Close, but not the same. I mean, the skirt is completely different. The wings are located at a different spot. They're actually different looking. But there are some things that are the same. The headdress is very similar. And so people have used her to create her. She has the same knee pads. Her boots are different because she has sandals. And it's funny, side note is, there's very few very few Masters of the Universe Classics figures that have sandals on. One time I was trying to find some to make a custom, And the only one I could find was King Hiss has sandals, a 2000X version. I think that's all I found. And then she's the other one I know of for the female figures that has a sandal type situation going on. Anyway, so again, different. So you couldn't really use her for the stand-in figure. So I was really hoping that with Masterverse, they'd finally give us a 2000X. Now, before that, I was hoping that we would see it with the 4 Horsemen line. Because the 4 Horsemen gave us these cool figures here in their Obscura line. And I thought for sure they would give us a figure of Isis. Here, I'll put a picture here on the screen. And Isis looks a lot like our 2000X Sorceress. In fact, she has the same skirt. She has the same wing. She has the same headdress. Has the same thing on top. And so I'm guessing that they must have used that as their inspiration for creating her, which is kind of funny. They used Isis for that. I had no idea that was what the inspiration was from until one day I was just surfing the internet trying to find something. And it's like, look how close these are. Let me put her over here, and I'll put the Isis picture over here. Look how close they are. It's just crazy how similar they are. All right. So, unfortunately, they did not give us an Isis yet for the Obscura line. If they did, I'm afraid they'd give us this cloth material, because I looked up her online, Bassett, and she has the same look for the skirt on the original design of her, which you can see on her top has that same kind of look. But they gave her a cloth skirt, so it doesn't have that cool same thing. Anyway, him too. He got a cloth skirt as well. Anyway, so I went ahead and mocked up what it would look like if Masterverse actually gave us our Sorceress figure. Look how cool that would be. Oh, that'd be so cool. Mattel, please. We need this figure. Yes. 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 So cool. But there are some other figures too which you could have had. For instance, we did a lot of new adventures with Masterverse. We had the He-Man. We had Skeletor. We had, what's his name? Sloshhead? Sloshhead? I can't remember his name. He has the water helmet head. Slushhead. Slushhead, that's it. And one that would have been cool, or two that would have been cool, would have been, we've got some more. Because when we had Classics, there were some figures missing in Classics, but we need to get some new Adventures He-Man. That would have been really cool to finish out our Classics line and also give us some new figures and some other cool things. So, Mattel, another miss. Another miss. You gave us a whole bunch of He-Man Skeletors again, but you didn't give us a lot of our secondary rare characters we really wanted. And I know there's other new adventure characters that people want as well. These are the two that I really want, because my kids had these figures growing up. And it would be cool to remake these so they fit with my Classics, but yet they would also be Masterverse figures. That would be so cool. So cool! Anyway, there's also another figure I was thinking of that would be a really cool figure to have in the line, and it's from She-Ra. And this is a big miss, because this is like one of the, not a major bad guy, but a pretty close major bad guy. And that is Hunga the Harpy. Now this would be an awesome figure. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, Mattel. This would have been so cool. Now she was actually featured in Secret of the Sword. So it's like, this is a pretty main character, and it would be cool. You can even have minions made. You could have her and her minions, and you could have a whole bunch of more figures you could have sold, Mattel. And people would have eaten this up. Oh, she is so cool looking. Anyway, so those are the 4 figures I would really like to see Mattel make in the Masterverse line. But it looks like we're probably not going to see that or going to get it. So here's my question for you. Here's my question for you. Now that we have 2 new lines coming out, we have the first ones, which is for kids, which is very similar to Origins now. And then we have the Chronicles, which are the more adult collectors, which are like these figures here, 6-inch figures with high articulation and high quality figures. but they don't match our Masterverse. They're not going to fit in the Masterverse. Now, granted, you could use a Masterverse monster and throw it in there with it. It'd be kind of cool for a giant monster compared to these guys, but most of the figures are not going to match very well. So, are you going to rebuy all the figures again in the new 6-inch line? Because we bought them already with Origins. We bought them with Vintage a long time ago. We bought them with Classics. We bought them in 2000X. We bought them in Masterverse. Are you going to rebuy them again in Chronicles? Or are you like, you know, I have enough. Enough is enough. And it is time to curate my collection and make it exactly what it needs to be for my particular purpose. So that's my personal take. Is I've been slowly curating my collection, focusing mostly on classics and using Masterverse to fill in the gaps. Or Masterverse, they have better versions of it, like the monsters, which are awesome. I love the monsters. I love a lot of the female figures too, to augment my original collection. So let me know what you think. And let's see, I do have some notes here that I took that I was going to talk about. Key talking points. Let's take a look and see if I missed anything. All right, so yes, and I did forget something, and that was that the vintage collection, they're still planning on potentially making the vintage collection, but it may only be on their website. So you may see some more vintage figures coming out that are still Masterverse, but for the vintage collection. So hopefully we'll see some cool figures coming out that still might match and fit, but we'll see. But just as a heads up, that is part of the plans, is to still release the vintage line of Masterverse, and we'll see how it does. Anyway, all this stuff, companies change their mind all the time, so we'll see what comes to fruition and what changes and what figures are going to be made. I think I got everything that I was going to talk about. Now, there is still one hope for me. One hope! And that is if Mondo actually goes and makes the 2000X Sorceress. Now, if they do, I'm buying her immediately. She's going to get bought, because I've already bought a couple of 2000X figures from Mondo. I skipped a couple too. I skipped one so far. But we'll see what comes out and what we'll get. I want your opinions. I want you to list the figures you think are missing still from Masterverse that would be great to either fill our Masterverse line or to fill our Classics line. Let me know in the comments. I want to see what figures you guys think are missing. Maybe I might make a follow-up video of fanned missed figures that they think needs to be in there, because there's still a lot of figures to go that we did not get. Both ones that are important, like some of the movie figures we could have still gotten. I mean, we could have had a movie Teela. We could have had a movie Man-at-Arms. We could have had, all kinds of cool movie from the 1987 movie. Even the black stormtrooper-like looking guys. We could have had some of those too, army builders. I mean, they just gave us a taste of all these things. It's like going to a smorgasbord, but not having enough to make the meal you want. You just get a taste of all these little things. Here's new adventures. Oh, we're just going to give you 3 figures. Oh, okay. Well, thanks. Oh, here's 2000X for Origins. Oh, we're only going to give you a couple figures. Oh, okay. Of course, now they're making more of the cartoon versions. And then each one, we keep getting these just little smorgasbord taste of the figures and never a deep cut. Like, something else I'd like to see, which is kind of way out there, is we saw in the cartoon on Netflix, the one Kevin Smith made, we saw Pig Boy! Pig Boy! And we didn't get a Pig Boy figure. That would have been really cool. It would have covered our movie from '87 and our new Revelation figures. Anyway, yes, no Pig Boy. I think that's pretty much all that I have, but I do want to know from you guys, figures you think that are missing that we still need to get. And that's all I got. Let me look at my desk one more time to see if there's anything else I forgot to talk about. No. Mondo, if you're out there and you're listening and you make our 2000X Sorceress, which I really, 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 really want, please include the bird. The bird is different than the bird that we got normally. The Zor is completely different, so you need to include the Zorberg as well. Zoidberg. The Zor bird as well. And we'll all buy her. Man, we will purchase the heck out of this figure. because we have wanted one for so long, so long, so long. I like her even better than the Filmation version. She is just so cool. Look at her arms. I actually made them magnetized. That's how they move. I put a little ball bearing that I got from a pen and drilled a hole and stuck the end of the metal rod in there and stuck a magnet right inside of her torso there. And the magnet was wide enough to work for both arms. So I have it on both sides with one magnet. And there you go. So now I have just a little bit of articulation. Not a lot. Just the arms can move and that's it. No head. No body. Nobody knows. Anyway. Oh, yes. Let me put the Isis picture up one more time so you can see the comparison, because it is crazy how much she looks like Isis. I'm telling you, the 4 Horsemen must have just seen the picture of Isis or somehow made it look like that. All right. Anyway, that is the end. And like they say in the 1987 movie, good journey. Bye now.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it!
I can't stand this plastic prison anymore.